August 27th, 2010, Kiss at the Virginia Beach Amphitheater, as photographed by rock photographer David Adam BELOFF. It was a night to remember. The band rocked. They absolutely killed it. And I didn't know what to think, what to say, what to do. I just did my best to take as many photos as I could and try to compose them correctly. But with Paul Stanley, the star child, right in my face, it was just crazy. I mean, the lights were going off. Gene Simmons was right there, sticking his tongue out at me. Oh my gosh, it was truly, truly amazing. So Paul Stanley lays down in the front of the stage, dead center, right where I was shooting. And he pulls out one of his guitar picks, sticks it on the tip of his tongue, and he starts sticking his tongue out at me right up in my super fisheye wide lens camera. And I'm just watching him do this and shooting as many photos as I can, which you can see in the slideshow if you keep watching. And he starts, blowing air in his cheeks and puffing out his cheeks and getting ready. And before I knew it, he says, "Poof!" And I feel this big poof of air, and it's Paul Stanley's pick flying over my head to some lucky person behind me. There were photographers all around. The music was loud and brilliant and just straight up rock and roll. And just being there, it was almost like being in a dream, because when I was a little kid, I would sit there and look at my old Kiss Alive 2 LP, and I would just be transfixed by these guys on stage with the makeup and the blood coming out of Gene Simmons, the demon's mouth, and the tongue, the pyrotechnics. You know, Kiss did not hold back. It was just as glorious and brilliant as it was in the 70s. And now, 4 decades of rocking it, and here they are, just still moving it and shaking it as best they can. It was just incredible. It was just such a great show, and I got the opportunity to watch some of the rest of the show. And it was just really cool. I mean, every song, just one by one, the band just pumped it out, and the fans were loving it. And let me tell you, there's not a lot of showmen out there that can do it like the way these guys do. I mean, you had Paul Stanley flying through the air and somehow landed in the middle of the audience where he started playing. Gene Simmons with his giant bat wings flying through the air. You had this drum set, it was just rocking out above the stage, the guitar solos. It was truly incredible. It was a good show. So I hope these photos will let the people that were there relive that evening from my perspective, from my point of view, what I saw. And I hope that those who didn't get to go enjoy these photos and that they like them, because it was a great experience and truly one of the most exciting photo shoots that I've ever done in my entire career. It was truly amazing. I absolutely loved it. So enjoy the photos, enjoy the band, and I'll holla at you later. Just to keep the ball rolling, I'll go ahead and read from the Wikipedia entry on Kiss. Here I go. Kiss, usually stylized as Kiss, is an American hard rock band formed in New York City in January 1973. Easily identified by its members' face paint and flamboyant stage outfits, the group rose to prominence in the mid to late 1970s on the basis of their elaborate live performances, which featured fire-breathing, blood-spitting, smoking guitars, shooting rockets, levitating drum kits, and pyrotechnics. Kiss has had 24 gold albums to date in the USA. The band has sold more than 19 million albums in the United States, according to RIAA certifications. And their worldwide sales exceeded 100 million albums. The 1973 to 1980 lineup of Paul Stanley, Gene Simmons, Ace Frehley, and Peter Criss is the most successful and identifiable. With their makeup and costumes, they took on the personas of comic book style characters. Starchild,
Stanley, the Demon, Simmons, Spaceman or Space Ace, Freely, and Catman, Chris. The band explains that the fans were the ones who ultimately chose their makeup designs. Paul Stanley became the star child because of his tendency to be referred to as the starry-eyed lover and hopeless romantic. The Demon makeup reflected Simmons' cynicism and dark sense of humor, as well as his affection for comic books. Ace Frehley's Spaceman makeup was a reflection of his fondness for science fiction and supposedly being from another planet. Peter Criss's Catman makeup was in accordance with the belief that Chris had 9 lives because of his rough childhood in Brooklyn. Because of creative differences, both Chris and Frehley were out of the group by 1982. The band's commercial fortunes had also waned considerably by that point. In 1983, Kiss abandoned its makeup and profited from a commercial resurgence throughout the rest of the decade. Buoyed by a wave of Kiss nostalgia in the 1990s, the band announced a reunion of the original lineup with makeup in 1996. The resulting Kiss Alive Worldwide Lost Cities Reunion Tour was the top-grossing act of 1996 and 1997. Chris and Frehley have since left Kiss again and have been replaced by Eric Singer and Tommy Thayer, respectively. The band continues to perform with makeup, while Stanley and Simmons have remained the only 2 constant members. Kiss was named 10th by VH1 on their list of the 100 greatest artists of hard rock, and 9th on the greatest metal bands list by MTV. On September 23, 2009, Kiss was nominated for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, 10 years after becoming eligible. But on December 15th, 2009, it was announced that Kiss did not make it into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Because of the ambiguity in the distinction between hard rock and heavy metal, Kiss's music has always been labeled one or the other. But shortly after the band's formation, critics called them thunder rockers. Their music is described by AllMusic as a commercially potent mix of anthematic, fist-pounding hard rock, driven by sleek hooks and ballads powered by loud guitars, cloying melodies, and sweeping strings. It was a sound that laid the groundwork for both arena rock and the pop metal that dominated rock in the late 80s. Its first critical review described Kiss as an American Black Sabbath and Rolling Stone, with twin guitars hammering out catchy mondo distorto riffs and bass and drums amiably bringing up the rear, said Stone of Hotter Than Hell. Kiss spews forth a deceptively controlled type of thunderous hysteria, closely akin to the sound once popularized by the German Panzer Tank Division. At the same time, Bennington Banner from Rock Music Magazine said, with its members' bizarre, kabuki-like makeup, studded black leather costumes, and arsenal of on-stage firepower, both musical and literal, Kiss represents the most extreme form of hard rock